20 years ago doesn't feel like that long ago. Our guest here today was a state champion as of this filming 20 years ago. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name's Jeremy Hilger. I was I was a state champion in 2004 for Fern Creek at 130 pounds. A
And
lot of pounds ago.
yeah, well, I was going to say we're filming this in January of 2024. In September of 2023, I graduated high school in 03. We had our 20-year reunion for my high school, and we were sitting around talking to each other, and it was like, there's no way we've been out of school 20 years. People I hadn't saw
Right.
since graduation were there, and it felt like, we were back at like in a classroom, back in like, lunchroom, just talking. Like, there's no way it's been 20 years. That's impossible. We've been
Right.
out of school longer than we were in school together. Just been away from each other. And like, as soon as you sit down, like, how the old saying, old friends connecting. So does it feel like you've been out? This has been coming into the 20th year of your state championship season.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like that. And I think kids will do that to you.
I
But
got you. I got you. I
but
got you.
yeah, man, I miss it. It's funny. We just built a new house and I've got some kids in the neighborhood interested in wrestling. And so I got some mats. I just put them down in the basement and it's kind of getting rekindled a little bit. So
I got you, man. And our review series has a way of drawing people back in. There's a lot of people that have said they've kind of started helping out their local team, whoever they wrestled for, coming back. They're watched the videos,
mhm.
or they'll be like kind of like what you said, man. I just couldn't get away from it. I saw so and so's video, and I was like, man, I gotta go. I gotta go see a match somewhere. I don't care what it is. I just got to go see a wrestling match, and so it's good that we're able to preserve the history, tell stories like yours, and spark interest or get people back into the sport, because sometimes life happens. Sometimes you get married,
Mhm.
start a career, you have kids, and you're out of it for a while. And then life kind of settles down a little bit. You can be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get back into something with wrestling. So that's cool, man, that you're able to, have that there in your neighborhood. So we like to start everybody off with the standard question, if you will, is what gets you into wrestling? How do you find it?
Me personally, my two brothers wrestled. They wrestled in Moore High School about 5 or 6 years before I did,
Mhm.
and they would always be in the basement. They'd have guys from the neighborhood wrestling, and they'd even do some boxing occasionally. But yeah, so I mean, I kind of got drug into it being the little brother,
I
and
got you.
so when I became a freshman in high school, that was probably the first opportunity I ever had to be a part of an organized team, and jumped right on it.
No, I get it, man. I completely understand. So let's go over before we go any farther. Let's go because I like to give the team's history in case
Mhm.
somebody is drawn into the series by your video or they see it and they're like, hey, I want to check this out. I like to give the teams, whoever you're representing, the team's history. Fern Creek has 3 team state championships: 1975, 1984, 2015, 36 individual state champions. And as of this filming, that is tied for 4th place with North Hardin. So, that's not bad to be tied for 4th with 36 individual state champions in the entire state. That's pretty good. And of course, 3 most outstanding wrestlers: 1977, Mark Thomas; 1982, Todd King; and 1993, Don Blevin. So, man, you added that tradition, and I can't wait for people to watch your match video and hear your state tournament bracket. So you start as a freshman. I guess that would have been what, 2001 would have been your first like official season as a freshman.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, because I was doing my research here, and I you know how it was back then when we were in school. Very rarely did you see middle schoolers make it. It was always high schoolers, and just a different breed of human
It
back then,
was.
I guess.
It was.
And so 2002 though, 125 pounds as a sophomore, you make it to the state tournament. but it's a learning experience. No shame in a learning experience. That was the first year we went to just regionals and
Yep.
then the state tournament 3 days. So you're there, man, you get to experience it, but it's a learning experience. 2003, 125 pounds as a junior. Same thing. You make it, another learning experience, but it's all for the greater good of that senior season, right?
Right.
And that's something that can't be understated is no matter how many wrestling tournaments you go to, no matter how many off-season meets you go to, whatever, wherever you go, Fargo, Super 32, whatever tournament you go to, there's something special about the school-sponsored high school state tournament.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something special about it. And that is, getting that experience, being there the past 2 years. But 2004, though, 130 pounds, you're a senior. So coming into that senior season, did you know, okay, I am winning the state championship this year? Did you kind of envision that? Or was it just, I want to get on the podium, or I want a better showing than what I've had before? Walk us through that, because making it twice and not placing to making it as a senior and then winning the daggone thing first time on the podium, that's a rare occurrence.
Yeah. It's funny you use that word, envision. Between my junior and senior year, I had some family friends, the Whitfields, Tim Whitfield.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. They helped sponsor me to go to a wrestling camp, Jay Robinson's 28-day camp in Minnesota. And so during that camp, not only is it an incredibly intensive camp, but the final practice of the day, every day we'd lay on our backs, and Jay Robinson would essentially hypnotize us. We lay on our backs, and we would have to close our eyes, and we'd have to envision winning a state championship for 28 days straight. And so I suppose my sights were never on anything else but that. My senior year was my entire focus.
No, I mean, that's a great great story, because people don't understand just how powerful envisioning something or seeing it, envisioning yourself standing on that number one podium in the dungeon, just how that you can bring that to reality, because it's like, okay, if I can see it here, I can do it in real life. I just got to go do it. It's not something that's impossible. So that's cool that, you got to do that. And of course, I've got your bracket for 2004. Let's go over it real quick. You start off the tournament. Of course, it's a 3-dayer. It was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, very long tournament, a lot of matches. I think the magic number was 100 or 868, if memory serves me correct. I could be wrong, but I think that's the right number. You start off the state tournament with a pin over Nick Quigley from Dunbar out of Lexington, 1:47. So not too bad. This next gentleman, whenever I was getting your bracket, I had to do a double take because I thought it said Devin Hester, but it's Dylan Hester from Danville, and you win that by a 16-1 decision. I was like, man, I didn't know Devin Hester wrestled at Bull County, being on the Miami Hurricanes and all that, playing for the Chicago Bears, but it was Dylan Hester. Then you get to the quarters. You're wrestling Joey Sanders from Wayne County, and you had to squeak one out here, a 10-8 decision, and Joey comes in third place. So walk us through that, man. You've had two, a pin and a tech fall, then you had to squeak one out. You remember anything about that match?
Yeah, I'll give you some details about that match, and then I'll give you a little backstory to support it. But that was an incredibly tough match. Is it Joey Sanders?
Yes.
He was a very talented kid. I remember the Wayne County kids, man. They all, if you make one mistake, they'd put you straight on your back. They're the type of boys that are gonna let loose, and they're gonna leave it on the mat, and I really respect that. But yeah, that match, I remember maybe 10, 20 seconds in, I got a double leg, and I was able to take him straight to his back and get some back points. And so, I mean, I got 4 points right off the back, and I think that fired him up pretty good. He was pretty rowdy after that. And but leading up to that match, though, I mean, I struggled with cutting weight all year, and I had some other adversities in the state tournament. And so, long story short, in the third period, I really started getting winded. It was a tough match for me, and because we had to make weight 2 days in a row, I feel like my senior year versus weighing in once in prior years, and that's it. So that second day weigh-in really, it took a toll on me, and I got a pretty good lead in that match, and but it was hard to hang on there and hold on to the lead that match. I mean, he was pressing me towards the end there, and that kid was pretty talented. Didn't he win a state title that next year?
He did. I've actually got that in my notes. 2005 130-pound state champion. And in 2006, he come in third place. So he went third, first, third. Yep. So, and thing about Wayne County, and I've said it we have several Wayne County state champions on the channel and other guys that have wrestled Wayne County in the finals. Wayne County has probably one of the most unique styles in the whole state. They're going to try to throw you. They're going to try those whips, those, like a chancellor straight to you, like a reverse chancellor, whatever.
Yeah.
Very unique style that Wayne County has. And there's not too many teams that run that. So you can always tell a Wayne County without even seeing a singlet. You could just tell that's a Wayne County kid or that's a whatever. So like you said, there's no saying you give them an inch, they'll take 17 miles with Wayne County, man. You give them an inch, buddy, it's over. Yeah. I mean, unless you're just a stud, it's over for them. So, but you win that by a 10-8 decision in the quarters. You get to the semifinals. You're wrestling Jarrett Weston from Hopkinsville, and on the KHSAA website where I get information from, it's got you winning a 2-2 decision. Did that go to overtime? Do you remember?
Yeah, it went to double overtime actually.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you've had 2 close matches, man, back to back, semis and quarters.
Yeah, the semis match that was tough. That kid was very athletic and he was very strong.
Yeah.
Again in this tournament, just a little backstory. I sprained my ankle about 3 weeks prior, so it made it hard on the weight cut because I couldn't just run it off like I used to. And then after that, I got sick like right before the state tournament. I had a run of just bad things, man. Like my contacts, I had like an allergic reaction to my contacts. I couldn't see the scoreboard in my finals match. When you're watching it, you'll see me point to the board. People probably thought I was bragging. I wasn't. I just didn't know the score.
I mean, I can see that happening.
Yeah. So I had a lot of adversity that I had faced, and when I hit the mat with Jarrett Weston, it was really hard to finish a takedown. I remember getting in deep on some single legs, some high crotches, and just really hard to finish it. And he was a tough kid too, man. And so I mean, I remember going into overtime and a double overtime with him, and I remember when we went to double overtime that he had the choice and he got to choose down. And so I had to hold him down. And man, I remember thinking I'd much rather be on the bottom because I just felt like nobody in my weight class could hold me down. But I had to be on top for 30 seconds, and whoever scores that next point wins. And so it was a long 30 seconds, man. But I really think that the resolve to win that match though kind of solidified my my demeanor about the tournament. That I wasn't just going to let anything set me back.
I got you.
Yeah, it was a tough match, man. He was a tough kid.
And of course, I got to officiate the state tournament in 2020, and a couple of the veteran officials come to me before we started the quarters because now we do quarters on Friday night, and then we do semis on that Saturday morning, like right after we do the whatever round of consolation that is. And they were like, your quarterfinal matches are going to be the best wrestling of the entire tournament. And I had some apps. I think I done 2 or 3 quarters, and I think I did 2 semis, and all of those matches were like 1 point overtimes, whatever.
All right.
My state finals match that year was easy. It was a 7-2 heavyweight bout. I mean, nothing really crazy, but those semifinals and quarter matches, if you want to see the best wrestling, that's usually where it's at.
Yep. Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, it's something about, not wrestling in the finals match, but being in one of the prior ones, just a little bit less pressured, you can lay it on the line a little bit more. I don't know what it is about it, but I do agree.
No, hey man, you've been there. I haven't, so we'll have to take your word for it. You've been to the top of Mount Everest, so to speak. But you get to the finals, you're wrestling David Barden from Paducah Tillman, and we're not going to tell you the score. We have the match video, we have the face-off match video, and the medal ceremony. And for those of you kind of new to the game, as of this filming, last year Paducah Tillman, they had the team state championship. I believe they had 4 individual state champions. The year before that, they had 3. So Paducah Tillman in the last couple of years, their wrestling has really just like come out of nowhere. And we've had a couple other review videos where we've had some Paducah Tillman wrestlers in the finals, but they didn't have a state champion until the 2022 season. Paducah Tillman and Fern Creek in Louisville, almost opposite ends of the state. Even though, Louisville is kind of more centrally located than where I'm at on the eastern end. But did you guys ever wrestle Paducah Tillman? Do you remember?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. We went down to Caldwell County and we'd run into guys from Caldwell County, occasionally Hopkinsville, some Indiana teams, but yeah, I don't think we ever wrestled Paducah Tillman throughout the year.
Yeah, I was going like Paducah, the way Kentucky is laid out, man, Paducah, Tillman, Union County, Christian County, Hoptown, all those guys, they can almost complete an entire season wrestling Tennessee, Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, Louisville. They can almost have a full season, Indiana, Illinois, even over into Ohio, Northern Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana right there on my end of the state, West Virginia, Tennessee. I mean, just where we're so spread out, man. Very rarely do teams get to see each other just in the same region. You'll see a team here or there, but I couldn't tell you how many matches we've done where it's been opposite ends of the state. Like you said, didn't even know Paducah Tillman was a high school. Didn't even know that, like back when in the 95, 94 teams, when Sheldon Clark won the team title, some people didn't even know Sheldon Clark was a high school, and here they were winning the team title.
Right.
And it's just cool that Kentucky has that vast geographic layout to where, the Mississippi River and the hills hardly ever see each other except state championship, state tournament.
Right.
And I love that we do one class. I love we do one champion for weight class, one team champion. We're not class. We're not division, public, private. If you win it, as Ric Flair would say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And there's no divisions, no classes. You can say, I am the man. So we're going to pull up your video here. You guys are looking there at a live look at the dungeon. The best atmosphere the KHSAA has ever produced. I don't care what anybody says. Better than at Rupp Arena for the Sweet 16. Better than the football. Better than the baseball, softball, whatever. Under the lights at the dungeon, the state wrestling tournament was the best state finals atmosphere that's ever existed. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that's spotlight that they put down on one mat and then the entire focus on one match. It's one of the things that really drove me to wrestle as hard as I did over my final years in wrestling, was to be able to have the opportunity to be in that match.
Mm-hmm. And we've said it in other videos, and I'm going to keep saying it, is whether you knew anything about the sport, of whether you were a family member coming to watch, classmates, whatever it was, friends, when the music started, the light started going down, and it ended up looking like this right before the finalists come out, you knew this was special. You knew this was not something that happened every day. You knew something was on the line here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It
And
was
it also, man, it felt like the crowd was just like right behind you the entire time, man. I mean, they're right there on the mat almost, it felt like.
And that's something a lot of people have brought up. Some of the referees we've done review videos with as well, they've even said, you know, it felt like literally the fans were like right on the edge of the mat. And for sometimes, like some of the bigger crowds, the fans had to be pushed off the mat. There's a couple videos we've done on the channel where they've had to kind of, you know, usher fans off the mat just because their wrestler won. So it was just right there, man, just a unbelievable atmosphere. And we're glad we're able to share every single video we've got from the dungeon. So, man, enough of us talking. Let's hit it. You turn up the volume just a little bit.
Sure.
They got the jock jams playing in the background.
Yeah, I've never seen this video.
Oh, really?
No.
That's awesome, man. Listen to the crowd. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Or you come out, man, hooded sweatshirt on, bouncing around. So you're coming in undefeated. You can hear the Fern Creek crowd yelling for you.
Yeah. What did they say he was ranked?
I think #1.
I couldn't remember what he was ranked. No, Bandcamper was ranked #1.
Oh, was he ranked? Okay. We'll have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey Bandcamper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, were you a better neutral wrestler? Were you better, you know, top, bottom? What are we looking to do here?
Man, I was just pretty balanced, to be honest with you.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't an upper body wrestler. I definitely wanted to shoot. I like to work singles and double legs. You know, I can work really good from a sprawl position on top. You know, before I went into the match, I remember my coach was telling me, just be a little careful against the guy's a really good shot. And I mean, he was just shooting doubles on people the whole tournament. And so I remember being a little cautious of that, probably too cautious, to be honest with you. And I wish, like, right there, I'd have been able to get in and finish some of those, because I had a few good shots. But, you know, he was pretty good defensively, too.
Yeah.
He's a talented kid.
He shot twice on you, and you've been able to defend both times. So that's – and he's had deep shots, too.
It was – I feel like I was only taken down maybe a couple times my senior year. One of the times was a kid who was out of state, Tennessee, and it wasn't very many times. I mean, I was pretty solid defensively on my feet my senior year.
Yeah.
But you know, he was talented. I mean, it was hard to keep him off your leg. When he got in, man, I mean, he was quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would, you know, when I locked up, I mean, I would kind of push forward, but then eventually I try to pull a guy into me and then shoot right beneath him. I remember doing that.
That's a good technique.
Yeah. I don't know if I did it. I'm sure I did it in the match, but we'll see. I much prefer to shoot from a lockup. You know, I mean, I could head fake, do some other things, but I really like to get head control and roll my head up underneath somebody's chin and shoot.
Yeah.
If I could. But Yeah, he was tough, man. Yeah, just it's a hindsight's 2020. Kind of wishing this match that I just let loose a little bit more. Sometimes you get under the spotlight and the bigness of the moment can take you over sometimes.
Yeah. Now,
I
right
probably
there,
moved.
before I don't mean to interrupt you, but you
No, you're right.
defer, and he's going to take down
Yep.
on top. Were you what, like a legs in? Let's work on the wrist. What are we looking to do on top here?
Yeah, I never really worked legs. I didn't like legs being put on me. I didn't put them on anybody else. No, what I really like to do is trap an arm just like I did there and see if I can take it between his legs right there and then work it, either some type of chicken wing. And if I can't do that, then you do a crossface series. So you either get a crossface cradle or you can get you a tilt out of it, get a Turk. I like to work a tilt series or a Turk if I could. And then one of my favorite things to do is to if I could, just like a crossbody tilt. Take your hand on the inner thigh and twist, get them broken down to the mat. And then once their hips are broken down, a crossface series is easy.
Yeah, no, I mean, because whenever I was cutting the video down, I was watching the match, and a lot of people that we've done videos with they wrestle real conservative. They know what like their bread and butter is. So he hit you for stalling right there.
Yep.
On top, and I didn't know if this was like you were just a methodical wrestler in
my
general,
coaches,
or you were just conservative for this match.
Yeah, I knew what was going on. My coaches got on me about that all the time. They're like, switch it up. So I'd have to move from side to side when I was working on top. I mean, I was big on pressure. I wanted to keep that shoulder in his lower waist because I didn't want his hips to get up, and I wanted to get that hand across his body, but I couldn't. Man, I couldn't do it. And so, but the last thing I wanted to do was let him escape. So I mean, I was doing everything I could to not allow that to happen. But sometimes when you're applying pressure and you're working, you have to be moving to make it look like you're not stalling.
Yeah.
And he was tough, man. But I don't think he got up this period. I can't remember. I feel like he didn't.
And you talking about pressure? Sometimes, when you're applying pressure, whether it's down pressure, or whatever, you'll hear coaches pressure back, and when you're applying pressure and your opponent pressures back, that's anybody knows anything about physics, there's going to be a reaction somewhere. It's just who's applying the more. And if the bottom wrestler is applying more than you are, they can get up, and you're like, what just happened?
Right. Yeah, I remember his elbows were in really tight right here, man. I just couldn't get anything dug out. Now I'm digging. You can see, like, I'm way overextended right there. I just couldn't get anything right. This is where
that's
this
the
was
end of the second period, going into the third, tied 0-0, and I guess you're going to take down, and he's going to give you an optional start.
Yeah. That's probably, I mean, with all due respect, that's probably a good decision. I was really good on the bottom. I was very prone to hit a switch. I love to work a switch, standing switch. I mean, there's stand-up series is good too. I could hit a stand-up real well, but I mean, I don't think I was my senior year. I don't think I was ever held down for an entire period. But coaches always said you getting off the bottom's an attitude. And
that's exactly right.
Yeah. If you got the right attitude, you'll get off the bottom.
That's the best technique is attitude.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, this match, man, just seems like it flew by. I mean, sometimes you wish it could go longer. I mean, I feel like I could have wrestled forever this match. It's not like the other two where I felt like I was getting gassed. I was fully in this match. Maybe it's adrenaline. I don't know what it is, but
now after you win that semifinals, did you go back to your hotel room, or did you go take a nap, or?
Oh yeah, slept. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't blame you.
Slept. Yeah. Slept. Try to get myself back together. I wasn't feeling the best. That I was so sick whenever after I won the state tournament, went back to school on Monday and I missed a celebration because I had to call in. It was my first day I ever missed my senior year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So Stalling green, 1 red. So that puts you up now 2-0.
See me point right there?
Yeah.
I didn't know the score. That's what that was.
I mean, that's a legitimate. If you couldn't see it, I totally get it. Nice sprawl right there. Nice sprawl. We like that.
Yeah, I just remember being resolved right here that I'm not going to lose this match and that I'm going to score a takedown. I remember thinking after that, after I pointed, I just remember being resolved that I was not going to lose this match.
So he hit you for stalling right there. And now it's 2-1.
Yep. State championship on a spin drill.
You get that takedown. Now you're up 4-1. He's trying to scramble. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. And there it is, man. 2004 130-pound state champion. Win it by decision, 4-1. Excellent job, man. Excellent wrestling. Got to get that hand raised, and here's of course the medal ceremony. So after you come off the mat, knowing you envisioned it at the camp, you've worked towards it, you're finally here. What are we feeling?
Man, it's euphoric. You work 4 years for something nonstop. You envision it, you think about it, you dream about it, you practice it, constantly run after practice. I can't tell you how hard it was to make weight. I had 2 practices a day for basically 3 straight months. Yeah, man, it's incredibly satisfying to work really hard for something and to be able to achieve it. That guy right there is pretty tough. I wrestled him like 4 times my senior year. I feel like.
Who is
Eric
that now?
Harden. I think it was Eric Harden.
Okay.
Eric's son from North Harden. Not North Harden. That was Goatley. Goatley put me out of the tournament the year before.
Oh, William Goatley.
Yeah. Junior Goatley.
Junior, yeah. His review videos on the channel.
Yeah, I watched it.
Let me pull up this medal ceremony. Let me get the guy's name correct.
Yeah, I wrestled Goatley a lot too. Yeah, both of those Hardin County guys are tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I never got the opportunity to wrestle Bandcamper. He was always number 1 the whole year ahead of me.
6th place was Andre Brianna from. No wait, that's the wrong.
It's 35.
Yep, no, that was. I pulled up the wrong year. That's my bad. Give me 1 second.
All right, bro.
And there you are, man, taking your rightful place at the top of the.
Yep. I had my glasses on because my eyes were so swollen I couldn't wear contacts, so I had to wear my glasses.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. I remember that guy, David Tillman. He was really nice. He was, he was a great sport. Shook my hand afterwards and, told me what a great match it was. And I should remember how good of a sport he was.
So, no, that's what it should be. Just because you compete against somebody in a wrestling bout doesn't mean they're your enemy. You compete.
Right. Yeah.
After give it 110% during the match, after it's over with, shake hands. Hey, man, excellent job. You got me. That's the way it goes. But real quick, 8th place, Austin Cooper from Simon Kenton. 7th place, Pat Banks from LaRue County. Pat goes on, I believe, 987 in 2006 and wrestles Harrison Courtney, state champion. Of course, Harrison wins, 4-timer, but Eric Thompson is who that was from John Harden.
Eric Thompson, that's who it was.
Jarrett Weston there in 5th place. Joey Sanders in 4th. Corey Bancamper in third, David, of course, in second, and you on top of the podium. So pretty good lineup there. Pretty good cast of characters. I'd like to ask everybody, you said this is the first time you've seen this match. Besides you winning, does it play out the way you remember it?
Yeah, mostly. To be honest with you, I remember thinking, amidst all the setbacks leading up to the state tournament, man, I wish I would have really let loose a little bit more. But maybe the result wouldn't have been the same had I done that, though.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not one to go back and to change the way that God have made things work out for me. But yeah, you always have those thoughts, man, I really, I could have really let loose on some things, but you play the hand you're dealt, and man, it was a great hand that I was given. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and you was able to finish the season undefeated. Just an excellent performance, and the that envisioning works. No matter what anybody says, envisioning works. It truly does. It can bring so much. So much what you have in here, like with this series. I'll tell the story, just a real abbreviated version. In September of 21, Coach Jim Matney, longtime coach at Sheldon Clark and the current, at the time, head football and wrestling coach at Johnson Central, passed away from COVID. And we were at his funeral on the evening of his funeral visitation was on Sunday, and actual service was on Monday over at the Johnson Central High School gymnasium. And a good friend of mine, he's the head coach at Sheldon Clark, or Martin County High School now, I should say, Josh Muncie. He is the head football and head wrestling coach, and he's got, at the time, his son was like 8 or 9 years old, and I was sitting there, all of Coach Matney's former state champions from Johnson Central and Sheldon Clark were, in saying hi to the family, bringing flowers and stuff. And I was kind of in a crowd of people. We were talking wrestling, talking about this, talking about that. And I just kind of drifted off into my own little world. And I was like, why can't we watch these matches? Why can't we go back and see the stories of these guys, watch the match video, get their perspective on it all these years later. And the envisioning wheel started turning. And I was like, I can do this.
Right.
I can bring this out. And I went to Josh Muncie, and we were standing right there. And I said, Josh, I have an idea. What if during wrestling season, I bring over, because I got, some pretty good camera equipment. I bring over my camera equipment. He's a teacher at Martin County High School. And we watch your match video. That way your son can have you talking about it. Your current wrestlers can hear you talk about it. And just watch the video. He's like, I'm in. Let's do it. I'm in. Let's go. And I knew when we were filming, of course, we filmed his in person. I knew when we were filming it, I was engaged. He was engaged. He'd watched it, he said, 100 times. But we were just right there on the edge of our seat, even though we knew the result. And I was like, we have got something here. We have struck oil on top of a platinum mine, on top of a diamond mine. We have struck it right here. And it was all just from me envisioning, sitting down and doing it. Could I have possibly envisioned it was going to be as big as what it has become? No. I guess that's my own short-sightedness, if you will, of how big it could have been. So always dream bigger than what you think, guys and girls.
Yep.
If you want to be a state champion and you're in high school and you're a freshman, don't just envision winning it once. Envision winning it 4 times.
Yep.
Don't ever sell yourself short. And that's how this series got started. And that's how you ended up on top of the podium, is just envisioning, I can do this. I can do this. So we've covered a lot of ground, man, made a lot of progress. Before we wrap this one up, do you have anything you'd like to add or say before we close this one up?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick thank you and then give you a list of people that I was grateful for that helped me. All my teammates, especially my senior year, Man, I mean, we had a small room my senior year. Wasn't a lot of guys in there. We were tight, and they really pushed me, man, and I pushed them, and I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for my coaches, Jeff Hall and Daryl Farmer. I'm still sorry, man. After that match, I ran up and I gave Coach Hall the biggest hug, and I was just so jacked. I ran off right after that, and I didn't even acknowledge Coach Farmer. And so I feel bad about that. But Coach Farmer was pivotal to me, having the success I had. And then just my grandparents and my family, man. My grandparents raised me when I was, in my final years in high school and took care of me. My grandma made it to every match. And, without their support, taking me to practice in the summertime and stuff like that, probably wouldn't have been where I was. So very grateful for that. And it was a pleasure, man, being able to go back and watch this and to watch other wrestlers. Really thankful for what you do, and I'm glad you had that vision, because it's been a delight to be able to go back and to see some of these other guys' stories and see perspectives that you couldn't have seen when they were wrestling. It gives you a little bit inside their own locker room a little bit, and so it's pretty cool, and it's fascinating. It's good information, and appreciate what you're doing, Alex.
Well, man, I greatly appreciate that. I really do. I talk about selling yourself short. I was friends with a couple of the Sheldon Clark guys, a couple of the Johnson Central guys, Nick Chafin at Prestonsburg, the Merton brothers. I know them because I got to referee them. I know them pretty well. And I thought, maybe if I could get 10 guys, this would be the coolest thing ever. If I could get, if I could push it and maybe get 15, whoa. And now we're almost to 300 videos.
Right.
There's only 784 state champions as of this filming. Of course, this year we're going to add 14 boys and 12 girls, and we're going to get every single girl. We've already talked to the coaching staff, because it being our first year, we're going to get every single state champion girl just to have that history. But this review series has done things for me and for people that I've never even met before, that I may meet in life's journey. But, they'll reach out to me on social media, and especially some of the older videos, like the 1969 videos that we've done, or finally getting to see Grandpa wrestle. Grandpa may have been passed away years ago, and their kids are in their 40s. Grandkids are in their great grandkids even. There was a family for one of the videos that we done. The gentleman passed away, I forget, 2018, 2017, something to that effect. And whenever and I had no idea. I mean, I had no clue. I think the gentleman was from Boone County, and like his the gentleman's wife sent me a message. I saved it, archived it and stuff. Just how that, they never thought they would ever get to see her husband like that wrestle. The kids were grown, get to see dad wrestle, grandkids, great grandkids. They all sat down and watched the match video. And I was like, man, that is the coolest thing that we could do for somebody, is just preserve this history, is let them tell their story, whoever it is, and preserve the history so they can have it and everybody else can have it.
Right.
Because whether they know Jeremy Hilger or not, whether they know John Wolfsiefer or not, whether they know whoever it is we've done videos with, the stories is what draws people in.
Yep.
And I think we do a good job telling that story of every single individual person. If they're a multiple time state champion, I think we do a good job of telling each individual year's state championship story. And that's what we do here, man. We love telling the stories, and we love preserving the history, because I don't know how it is where you are from, but wrestling is treated, and this, my part, not so much anymore, but growing up and up until this series, is if the basketball team, and nothing against basketball. I love Kentucky basketball. I love high school basketball. If kids are playing a sport that they love,
Right.
more power to you. You know what I'm saying? But like the basketball team could win the district championship. They're getting a front page spread of the newspaper. Wrestling team could have 3 state champions, and they might get a little, blurb in the newspaper. And now Kentucky high school wrestling is the most viewed, the most shared, the most hours watched high school sport on YouTube.
That's cool.
Kentucky high school wrestling. All because I had the envision of asking a friend, hey, would you like to do this review video? And now we've taken over. Ohio's not done it. Iowa, Pennsylvania, your better wrestling states, your more prominent wrestling states, they're not leading the charge. Kentucky is.
Yeah.
We collectively are leading the charge, and I love being able to say we because it's a community. This may be my channel. I may be the one coordinating and filming and editing all that stuff, but it takes people like you, people like Johnny Woo, Mark Hitchings, AJ Bender, all the Fern Creek guys, whoever you are. It takes people like that to make this series what it is, because nobody wants to hear me yet. They're here for you guys. They're here to hear your stories and watch your matches. I'm just glad to be a part of it and be the one, guiding the ship. So, guys, we've reached a great ending point. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the mats.